Is Carmelo Anthony the best player in the 2003 NBA draft?
If you ask the question right now, the majority of basketball fans around the world will think you are either crazy or childish. But if the question was asked 15 years ago, there would be many guys out there who would come out and claim that Melo was a better player than LeBron James. How good was Melo before the 2003 draft? He averaged 22.2 points and 10 rebounds the young years he spent in college, and even at the Syracuse Orange to the NCAA championship. Melo was high before the draft, and people ranked him as high as the first overall pick over guys like LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. In April of that year, the New York Post Mike Vaccaro wrote on the choice between the two. You will probably lose less over the next 15 years or so if you win with Melo Anthony. Even Melo himself said in an interview he's the most complete player in the 2003 draft. In Melo's first season at the Denver Nuggets, he showed the entire world how much potential he had by averaging 21 points and 6.1 rebounds per game. In the 2002-2003 season, the Nuggets was only able to win 17 games, but because of the addition of Carmelo Anthony, they were able to win 43 games and make it all the way to the playoffs. Melo is also the youngest player to ever got a double-double in NBA playoff history. That's a 25-game difference. In contrast, LeBron that season averaged 20.9 points and 5.5 rebounds and held the Caps to 35 games. Stats-wise, Melo is better. Record-wise, Melo is better as well. The world still went to LeBron. Many people still argue today that Melo was robbed of the Rookie of the Year award. Melo has also become the first rookie to lead a team in scoring, the youngest rookie to score, also the youngest player to ever score a double-double. Let's fast forward to the 2006-2007 season. That season, the Nuggets acquired Allen Iverson in a blockbuster trade. Allen Iverson was still one of the best players in the league and still averaged 31.2 points before he was sent to Denver. While for Melo, he averaged nearly 29 points per game that season, and they can easily form a dynamic duo that can dominate the NBA. In the first season spent as teammates together, the Denver Nuggets won 45 games but were eliminated by the Spurs in 5 games easily. And AI and Melo formed a good relationship, and they were able to lead the Nuggets to 15 years the next year. But as a part of the Western Conference, winning 50 games is far from enough, as the Nuggets got swept by the Lakers in the first round. Both Melo and AI really struggled in that series, as Melo only had 8 assists in 2 games. Melo got the opportunity to play with one of the greatest players of all time. He didn't play that well in the playoffs, and after being eliminated in the first round for 2 years in a row, the Denver Nuggets decided to send Allen Iverson to Detroit Pistons for Chauncey Billups in return. 2008 is the year Melo really experienced the joy of winning. In the 2008 Olympic Games, Melo averaged 11.5 points in just 19 minutes and won the gold medal and helped the 2008 Dream Team make their revenge. Heading into the 2008-2009 season with Chauncey Billups replacing Allen Iverson's role, the Denver Nuggets is able to win 54 games and kick the Charlotte Hornets' ass by outscoring them 58 points. With Melo being the first offensive option, also the leader, the Nuggets made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Though Melo averaged only 22.8 points in the regular season, Melo is able to increase his stats to almost 28 points per game. In the Western Conference Finals, Melo and his teammates are able to push the Lakers with prime Kobe and Paul Gasol to 6 games. Melo played so well in that series that he averaged 27.5 points per game and almost beat the Lakers in Game 6. It's a pretty successful season for Melo because the Nuggets just traded away a top 15 player in Allen Iverson, but they are still able to win games and even made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals to meet the LA Lakers with prime Kobe and Paul Gasol. The longer Melo stayed in Denver, the more Melo wants to play for his hometown team, the New York Knicks. Carmelo Anthony has told the Denver Nuggets he will not sign the nearly $65 million contract extension he has been offered unless he is traded to the New York Knicks. So the Knicks are doing fine with the Mayor Stoudemire halfway through the season. Instead of waiting until the summer to sign Melo as a free agent, the Knicks traded away half of their roster to get Melo. Years after Melo left, Melo's former coach George Karl has came out and said this: "Melo was a true conundrum for me in the 6 years I had him." Karl wrote in Furious George, according to an advanced copy obtained by the New York Post, he was the best offensive player I've ever coached. He was also a user of people addicted to the spotlight and very unhappy when he had to share it. Is Melo as selfish as George Karl said he is? We will talk about that later. With the Matt Stoudemire, Melo get another opportunity to team up with another top 20 player in the league at that time, and they could easily be a contender in the Eastern Conference. After the Melo trade, the Knicks went 40-40 and are eliminated by the Boston Celtics in the first round with ease. The next season, the Knicks finished with a 36-30 record in the lockout season and was eliminated by the Heat in just 5 games. Nobody expected the Knicks to go that far, but the first 1.5 seasons Melo played for the New York Knicks are still very disappointing, because when you have 2 of the best players in the league, but you can still can't pass the first round, is disappointing. But the Knicks fans still find some joy in that 2011-2012 season, as a guy whose name is Jeremy Lin, a Chinese, came out, completely took the world and led the Knicks to win 7 games in a row. Jeremy Lin used to be a journeyman and bounced around many teams. In many people's eyes, Jeremy is just a bench warmer that nobody wants. But as Melo and Mayer both got injured and had to sit out for games, Lin found his opportunity to show the world how great he can be. In the first game, he scored 9 points and dished out 6 assists. Jeremy Lin really exploded when he played against the New Jersey Nets. He scored 25 points and dished out 6 assists. How much impact does Jeremy Lin have? Paul Okada, co-founder of the fan site JeremyLin.net, just to see an Asian American on the cover of Sports Illustrated, it shows that we shouldn't be stereotyped. Asian Americans can do a lot of different things. It's not just math and science. That was meaningful. Lin's insanity is the best thing to ever happen to the New York Knicks, and the spotlight Lin got really made Melo jealous. Remember what I mentioned above? George Karl said Melo is addicted to the spotlight and unhappy to share it. Matt Stoudemire also hinted in an interview that Melo is jealous of Jeremy Lin because of the spotlight he got. But Lin's insanity suddenly come to an end as Mike D'Antoni resigned from the New York Knicks and as Mike Woodson took over as their new head coach. Because of Jeremy Lin, the Knicks is able to make the playoffs, but still get beaten by the Heat in 5 games. Lin, Amir Stoudemire, and Melo could easily form a big three, but because Melo is jealous, the trial between them never worked out. And the Knicks stated that they will do whatever it takes to make Jeremy Lin stay, but after the Houston Rockets offered Jeremy Lin a poison contract, the Knicks had to give up his bird rights and let him go, which is really frustrating for New York Knicks fans. After letting Jeremy Lin go, the Knicks signed a bunch of veterans like Jason Kidd and Gerard Wallace and Marcus Camby. Melo the season averaged 28.9 points per game, won the scoring title, and ranked 3rd in the MVP voting. He played so well that many people thought that Melo was robbed of the MVP just because how important Melo is to his team. Also, let's talk about one guy whose name is J.R. Smith. Yeah, not this J.R. Smith, but J.R. Smith, who averaged 18 points per game and won 6th Man of the Year that season. J.R. at that time was still an athletic freak with the ability to create his own shot. Knicks had a 54-28 record and ranked 2nd in the Eastern Conference. They beat the Celtics easily in the first round, and in the second round they faced up against the Pacers with Paul George, David West, and Roy Hibbert. As the Pacers led the series 3-2, the Knicks have to win Game 6 or they will be eliminated. Melo scored 32 points that game, but then this happened. After this block, or we should say goaltending, the Knicks lose their momentum and lose the series, and were just out and in just the semifinals. Let's fast forward to the 2014 summer when Melo became a free agent. Melo could sign with the Bulls with Derrick Rose, a young rising star in Jimmy Butler and Joakim Noah, who was actually pretty good at that time. Melo could also sign with teams like the Lakers, but Melo chose to resign with the Knicks instead of because of money. How much does money matter in Melo's life? Well, when Melo was still a kid, someone tried to rob him at a gunpoint for $20 when he was 14 and still living in Baltimore. But instead of simply handing over the money, Carmelo Anthony decided he would take his chances and run rather than hand over the cash. Melo has experienced poverty and he knows how badly it feels. That's why he chose money over championships when he became a free agent in 2014. Remember, the Knicks is only able to win 37 games a season before the 2014 summer, but Melo still chose to stay with them just because of one thing, and that thing is simply one word: money. Then Phil Jackson came in and Melo really had some beef with him. Phil Jackson even came out and said that he wished Melo could have succeeded somewhere else. Though Knicks is able to pair Melo with Porzingis, a very talented young player, they still couldn't make the playoffs. Then Melo got traded to the Thunder to pair with both Paul George and Russell Westbrook. But Melo is still massively underperformed by only being a spot-up shooter, by only averaging a career-low 16 points. Then the Thunder got eliminated by the Jazz in 6 games, partly because of Melo's bad performance. Melo was supposed to be a superstar in the league, but right now when his buddy LeBron James signed a 4-year, nearly $1.6 billion deal with the Lakers, Melo is only able to sign a veteran minimum contract with the Rockets. Melo massively performed when he was paired with AI, a former MVP, a 4-time scoring champion. When he was paired with Amir Stoudemire, another great player. He was paired with Russell Westbrook, a former MVP, and Paul George, a top 15 player in the league.